Welcome back to TCM, where we are watching a lineup of horror films starring Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, perfect viewing in the lead up to Halloween. I'm Alicia Malone, and we're about to see Karloff reprising his most memorable role for the final time, Frankenstein's monster, with Lugosi as Igor. It's Son of Frankenstein, directed by Roland V. Lee. This was released in 1939, a time when Universal Pictures was in dire need of a hit. The original studio head, Carl Laemmle Sr., had been pushed out in 1936, and initially the new executives wanted to change the studio's image, moving away from their popular monster movies. They soon reversed that decision, re-releasing Dracula starring Bela Lugosi and Frankenstein starring Boris Karloff to great success. This led to Universal greenlighting a third Frankenstein movie, coming after the sequel Bride of Frankenstein from 1935. As the title suggests, this story focuses on the son of the scientist Frankenstein, played by Basil Rathbone, who arrives at his father's castle with his wife and young son. The village does not welcome him with open arms. The scars of his father's creation are still felt among the villagers. The younger Frankenstein vows to be different, but soon finds himself entranced by the monster, who is still alive thanks to his father's old assistant, Igor. By the end of the 1930s, Boris Karloff was still a recognizable star, while Bela Lugosi was struggling. Lugosi tried his best to break out of the horror genre, but even with a solid supporting performance in Ninotchka from 1939, studios weren't willing to give him interesting roles. Even on this production, Universal wanted to humble Lugosi, giving him half his usual salary and demanding that he film all of his scenes in a week. But director Roland Lee stood up for him and kept Lugosi on for the duration of filming. From 1939, this is Son of Frankenstein. Boris Karloff once called Frankenstein's monster the best friend I ever had, and Son of Frankenstein was the final time Karloff would play the role he made famous. As he explained, quote, "There was not much left in the character of the monster to be developed. We had reached his limits." And Karloff also realized that, quote, "From here on in, he would become a rather oafish prop, so to speak, without any great stature." The monster met a fiery end in our film, but the character did continue to pop up in various movies. Even Bela Lugosi played him in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman from 1943. The combination of Karloff and Lugosi made Son of Frankenstein a big success for Universal Pictures, who ended up with a profit despite director Roland V. Lee going way over budget to almost twice the amount the studio had originally given him. Okay, let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll watch more films featuring Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. Next, we have an unsettling horror movie from 1945 where Karloff plays a gravedigger. Back soon.
Next on TCM, The Body Snatcher, then The Invisible Ray. And later, you'll find out. Learn something new on TCM tonight.